An Alleman High School grad has had an adventurous life and is now making headlines again. Bill Albrecht spent 25 years as a Secret Service agent protecting 6 presidents and their families and other heads of state. But it is his service in the military that is taking center stage right now.
Yes, Sharon, Bill earned the distinction of being the youngest captain to command combat troops in Vietnam, due partly to the incredible loss of commanders in war in the late 60s. And after holding the story in for decades, the highly decorated Green Beret is now on a nationwide book tour, telling his incredible story of the ultimate test of his will, not just to lead, but to survive.
Hawk, this is 4-1. Okay, 4-1, this is Hawk. Go, buddy. Okay, we're coming in hot.
This is the actual radio chatter, late October 1969, Vietnam. Near the Cambodian border, Chicken Hawk, the handle for Bill Albrecht.
As long as they hear you up there, and you put out a little bit here and a little bit there, they're not going to try a hell of a lot because they know what you people can do.
He had just arrived on this spot, Fire Base Kate, one of 3 small hilltop fire support bases covering a Special Forces camp. Kate was home to 27 American artillerymen and 130 Montagnard tribesmen, or mountain people, fierce fighters. When the new commander arrived, some men were playing volleyball and cards, not expecting much trouble.
We were such a minor target. We figured, well, they were telling me that there was nothing, it was kind of like a holiday. You're going to go out there for 30 days and run security. It's your turn. The other guy is going out. You're just going to have to go out there and sit on your butt for 30 days.
But he ordered immediate defensive preps just in case. And in just a matter of hours, they would all be put to the test as a patrol waded into the waist-high grass in the dense jungle below their hill.
All hell broke loose and they come running back. It was a heck of a firefight. They ran back into Kate and they go, Beaucoup VC, which, they're French. Well, I mean, French influence. A lot VC, anybody shot at him was VC.
Albrecht called in Spooky for air support.
Old lady up here is ready to clear her throat and do a little talking for you.
It has a minigun, and it can shoot out and put a round every square foot.
You're putting it dead in on them, I tell you that right now. I'd like you to put a few rounds on the other side of the slopes.
Believing the threat was over, they went to sleep and got a wake-up call they would never forget.
Crack of dawn, incoming, and I mean a lot of it. Rockets, recoilless rifle, mortars, small arms. We got hit, and we got hit quick, and we got hard. We took a lot of casualties.
Everything from 57 recoilless to 82 mortars to small arms.
Instead of backing away, Bill grabbed 40 men and took the fight to them. Bill's men tried to flank the enemy near Ambush Hill, but the pilots above warned thousands were instead flanking them. Their point man, a Montagnard, down. Albrecht determined to get him out.
I needed to gain their trust. I needed to earn their trust. They needed to know that I would go the extra mile for them because I was certainly going to ask them to go the extra mile for me.
Running through the high grass, he came out with a man in a fireman's carry. They returned to Fire Base Kate, but the fight was far from over. The North Vietnamese were determined to finish them off.
They were coming at us in mass waves.
Air support and artillery from other units helped, but the enemy just kept coming and soon brought in anti-aircraft.
Hawk, this is 4-1. We're just going to start working all the way around you, babe. Okay, buddy, that sounds real good, real good. Go ahead.
They blew Joker 8-5 out of the air on his final. It became suicidal for close air for the helicopters.
Now on their own, cannons taken out, left with hand-to-hand fighting and small arms as the enemy surged back and forth through the wire.
Was I afraid during that particular time? Not while you're busy, not while the mission is at hand. That comes later in the quieter times.
But over the 5-day siege, there would be very little quiet, running low on everything, including sleep. Some men were shell-shocked, Albrecht himself wounded from shrapnel. But the men here kept fighting, kept holding out hope, their last hope. The Special Forces strikers would parachute in to get them out.
We saw about 200 land. Then we saw the enemy shift over to them, like 1,000 enemy against these 200.
So close, but the rescuers themselves had to dig in where they were. Higher command sent word no help would come. perhaps not worth the risk to save the hill, to save Bill's men. They had three choices: surrender, die in place, or fight their way out on foot. Thousands of North Vietnamese were amassed all around them. The sounds of the snipping of barbed wire revealed just how close they were.
Oh God, I was scared. I was so scared I had the handset of the mic depressed, and I couldn't receive until you were let go of, until my RTO kind of smiled and said, "Sir, you got to let go of that handset."
Okay, Hawks, this is bad. Now you're going to have to talk slower if you want these people to talk to you.
In darkness, a final call to Spooky to clear a path through the jungle, through enemy lines. But Spooky could not come. The only support, the voice on the radio.
No trouble so far, no trouble so far. Okay, I'll keep it posted.
I looked up at the Almighty and I said, "You know what? I understand I'm going to die tonight. I understand I'm not going to see a sunrise. And I think, you know what? I'm okay with that. But Lord, before you take me, and I know I'm ready to go, let me get as many of these brave young men that you have entrusted to me to safety before you do."
He ordered his men to run as fast as they could.
We're by ambush hill. We're by ambush hill. We're going around left side, left side.
And somehow, some way, all but one American made it out. But that one loss would haunt him for decades. Ron Ross had just arrived.
Lieutenant Ross, he was just on the ground. Young guy, he was from Abondoned, Wisconsin. His eyes were some of the bluest eyes I'd ever seen. "You married?" "Yeah." "Got a newborn baby?" "I haven't seen yet, but I'm going on R&R in 3 days."
Bill was determined to get him out to see his baby boy. The aircraft to take him just 30 yards away. Bill led the way on a dead run.
And I saw it coming. I saw the red tail, the orange tail of a B-40 rocket coming right at me. I got to the entrance of the bunker, and I just went to dive in, and it hit. It blew. It blew me in unscathed. But Lieutenant Ross wasn't as lucky, and he hit right here and out here, and he fell in, and there was no, and he bled out in 30 seconds.
That feeling would never leave him, and years later, he gave up even trying to hold it all in. He had two things he just had to do. First, meet with Ron Ross's son.
I looked into those eyes, and it was like looking into Ron Ross's eyes. They were the same blue. And so it was so comforting for me to be able to tell him, "You know what, your last thing your father talked about on this earth was you, and how proud he was to be your father."
Second, take the horrors from his mind and put them on the page.
This book is cathartic for me. It's a purging of the demons that I had.
And paying tribute, chapter by chapter, to all of those abandoned in a tough chapter in history. Closing the book on Firebase Kate once and for all. Bill won't talk about his commendations, but we will. Among them, the top row here, 3 silver stars for gallantry in action. Second row, 5 bronze stars, 3 for combat valor. Third row right here, 3 Purple Hearts, wounded in action. One of those injuries coming within 24 hours of his first landing at Firebase Kate. For more on the story and the book Bill is now touring with, check out our links at KWQC.com.